The mark in the dark corner of the galaxy on a silent prison ship floating near a dying star. Zara sat alone in her cell. Her hands were tied, her face bruised, and a glowing red symbol flickered on the side of her neck. It was the mark. Everyone in the galaxy knew what the mark meant. Death. Not quick death, but slow, secret, and certain. No one with the mark lived more than 24 hours. No trial, no mercy. The Empire called it justice. The rebels called it erasing. Zara had once been a loyal pilot of the Empire. She had won battles, saved ships, and followed every order. But then, she saw something they didn't want her to see. A file. Project Silence. She didn't understand it all, but she saw the truth. Innocent planets destroyed, voices silenced, lies hidden. She tried to speak out. The next morning they came for her. No warning, no questions. Just the mark. Now, she waited for the end. The ship was quiet. Too quiet. She could hear the hum of machines, the soft buzz of the mark on her neck. Every few minutes. A red light blinked outside her cell. Watching her. Counting down. Zara didn't cry. Not anymore. She just stared at the floor and remembered flying through stars, feeling free. Then something changed. Footsteps. Heavy boots moving fast. The red light outside her cell blinked faster, a warning. The door slid open and a man stepped inside. Tall, human, wearing dark armor. His face was covered with a helmet, but his voice was clear. Zara? She didn't answer. You're coming with me, he said. She laughed. A cold, tired laugh. What are you here for, to kill me faster? The man removed his helmet. It was Commander Ray, a human from Earth. A soldier of the Empire. Her old enemy. They had fought each other once in the Battle of Twin Moons. He had almost killed her. She remembered his eyes, sharp, angry, full of fire. But now, his eyes were calm. Serious. I'm here to get you out. Why? Zara asked, confused. You're one of them. Not anymore, he said. Not after what they did to my sister. He didn't say more. He just pulled out a small tool and cut her bonds. Then he placed a cold metal patch over the mark on her neck. The red light disappeared. This won't last long, he said. They'll track you again in 2 hours. Zara stood up, weak but curious. Why are you helping me? Ray looked at her, his voice low. Because they marked the wrong person, and they messed with the wrong human. Alarms started to ring across the ship. They were running out of time. Ray grabbed her hand. Follow me. They moved fast through the narrow halls, dodging cameras and patrol bots. Ray knew the ship well. He had planned everything. You're risking your life for me? Zara asked as they hid behind a wall. Not just for you, he said. For the truth. They reached the hangar. A small fighter ship was ready. We'll fly to a shadow planet, Ray said. No trackers, no Empire eyes. There. We'll find answers. As they boarded the ship, Zara looked at the stars outside. For the first time in days, she felt a small light inside her chest. Hope. But just as they took off, a voice echoed through the ship's speakers. Subject Zara has escaped. Activate death protocol. Ray's hands moved fast on the controls. Zara's eyes widened. What's death protocol? Ray didn't answer. Behind them, a black drone ship powered up, chasing fast. Zara turned to Ray. We won't make it, will we? Ray smiled just a little. We're human. We always find a way. As their ship jumped into hyperspace, the drone exploded behind them, confused by the signal jammer Ray had set. Safe, for now. But they both knew the Empire would not stop. Zara touched the patch on her neck. The mark was still there. The clock was still ticking. But now, she wasn't alone. The escape. The stars blurred outside the small fighter ship as it tore through hyperspace, the engines screaming like ghosts in the dark. Inside, Zara sat in silence, her hands gripping the cold edge of her seat. The mark on her neck still pulsed faintly beneath the patch. A reminder. The Empire had not forgotten her. They never did. Commander Ray sat in the pilot's chair, focused, his fingers dancing across the controls. He hadn't spoken much since the escape. His jaw was tight, his eyes sharp, like a soldier on borrowed time. Zara finally broke the silence. "Where are we going?" "Somewhere they don't look," Ray replied. "A planet called Draz 5. It's not on most maps." "Why?" "Because it's full of outlaws, smugglers, and people who hate the Empire more than they hate each other." Zara raised an eyebrow. "Sounds friendly." Ray didn't smile. "It's not. But it's the only place where we can disappear long enough to find the truth." Behind them, alarms suddenly flashed across the dashboard. Ray cursed under his breath. "They're here already?" Zara asked. "Not them," Ray said. "Worse. The Death Squad, the Empire's secret weapon. Not robots, not men. Something in between, grown in labs, trained in void, loyal to nothing but the system. 3 ships had locked onto their signal, fast, silent, unstoppable. "Can we outrun them?" Zara asked. "No," Ray said, "but we can lose them in the dust field near Draz 5. Maybe." The fighter shook violently as the Death Squad opened fire. Red beams flew past them, one slicing the wing. The ship spun for a second before Ray pulled it back into control. "Hang on," he said. They dove into a field of space debris, old satellites, broken ships, forgotten weapons from old wars. Inside this chaos, radar was blind, but so was vision. Ray twisted the ship between wreckage, dodging metal spikes and spinning parts. Zara took the co-pilot seat and helped stabilize. One of the Death Squad ships crashed into a drifting cruiser. "One down," Ray said. "2 more to go," Zara replied. Suddenly, a sharp jolt hit their ship. Something had latched on. "Boarding. Claw," Ray growled. "They're coming inside." He tossed Zara a small blaster. She caught it without thinking. "Can you shoot?" Zara gave him a look. "I was flying warships before you could walk." The ship's lights flickered. Heavy thuds echoed from the back door. Metal screeched. Then silence. "Stay low," Ray whispered. The door exploded open. They came in like shadows. Tall, dark, half-machine soldiers. No faces. No voices. Just death. Ray fired first, hitting one in the chest. It didn't fall. Zara aimed at the neck. Spark. Smoke. It dropped. "Go for the weak spots," she shouted. The fight was brutal. Close. Fast. Ray took a hit in the shoulder but kept going. Zara moved like fire. Smart. Quick. Deadly. In 2 minutes, it was over. 3 metal bodies lay on the floor, sparking and twitching. Ray leaned against the wall, bleeding. Zara tore cloth from her jacket and wrapped his wound. "You okay?" she asked. "I've had worse," he said, wincing. "They'll send more," she said. "Not yet," Ray replied. "They think we're dead." He reached over to the controls and pressed a button. The ship powered down completely. Stealth. "Mode, no signals, we float now." Zara looked at him. "How do you know all this?" Ray didn't answer at first. Then he said, "Because I used to work with them." She stared at him. "You were part of the Death Squad?" "Not exactly," he said. "But close enough. I trained them. I built their ships. I helped the Empire make monsters." Zara stepped back. "Why would you help them?" "I didn't know what they were doing. Not at first. When I found out, it was too late. They marked my sister. Said she was a rebel. She never came back." Zara sat down. "So now you're trying to fix it?" "No," he said quietly. "I'm trying to burn it all down." A long silence followed. Then something beeped. Not from the ship. From Zara's mark. She tore off the patch. The mark had changed. "What is that?" Ray asked. "I don't know," Zara said. "But it's not just a tracker anymore." On her neck, the red mark began to pulse in a strange rhythm, almost like it was talking. "They're not just tracking me," she said slowly. "They're using me, maybe even watching through me. Ray looked at her. Then we need to get that thing out of you. Zara nodded. And we need answers. Fast. Ray turned the ship toward Draz 5. Then let's go meet the worst people in the galaxy, he said, and ask for a little help. As they entered the dark clouds around Draz 5, the stars disappeared. Somewhere down there in the shadows was a hacker who could break the mark. But also waiting were bounty hunters, old enemies, and secrets worse than death. They had escaped once, but the real danger had just begun. The truth, the skies of Draz 5 were not like normal skies. They were made of smoke, ash, and forgotten promises. The sun never shone here. The clouds were thick with static. And the ground? Broken cities, metal ruins, and people who had nothing left to lose. Ray flew low, silent. Their ship barely made a sound as it passed over black rivers and rusted towers. This place, Zara whispered, staring out the window. Looks like it already died. Twice, Ray answered. First, during the Pirate Wars, then when the Empire used it as a test ground. For what? He looked at her, his eyes serious. For control. They landed near a giant crater, once a city, now just twisted wreckage and wind. Hidden beneath the ruins was a secret bunker, protected by ancient security drones and newer, deadlier traps. Only one person knew how to get in. Jinx. They walked carefully, Ray limping slightly from his wound. Zara scanned the area, hand near her weapon. Suddenly, a red laser dot appeared on Ray's chest. Don't move, a voice said from the shadows. Female. Sharp. Amused. Zara didn't hesitate. She spun and aimed her blaster at the source. A woman appeared above them, sitting on a broken statue, legs swinging like a child. Neon blue hair, half her face replaced by chrome. A cigarette hung from her lips. You really brought the marked girl here? She laughed. That's brave. Or stupid. We need your help, Jinx, Ray said. You always need my help, she replied. But this time, you've brought the Empire's most wanted. She jumped down, scanned Zara. You know they're tracking her thoughts now, right? Jinx said. Not just her location, her memories, her voice. She's a living spy without knowing it. Zara stepped back. What do you mean? Jinx motioned them inside the bunker. Come in, I'll show you the truth, and then you'll wish you hadn't asked. Underground, in the dim light of screens and cables, Jinx connected a scanner to the mark on Zara's neck. Lines of red code filled the monitors. It's not just a mark, she said. It's a gateway. Gateway to what? Ray asked. A system called Project Silence. You've heard of it, haven't you? Zara nodded. I found the files. That's why they marked me. Jinx leaned back, eyes glowing from the screen's reflection. What you found was just the cover page. This is the real Project Silence. Anyone who learns the Empire's secrets is marked. But the mark doesn't kill them. Ray frowned. Then why do they disappear? Because the mark copies their brain, Jinx said softly. Their thoughts, their fears, their loyalty. Then it wipes them clean, not dead, empty. Zara's hands shook. I've been uploading to them. Yes, Jinx said. Every thought, every word, every plan you made after the mark. They know it. They watch it. And when they've learned enough, they erase you and use your memories to train their soldiers. Monsters, like the Death Squad, Ray whispered. Exactly. Zara sat down, stunned. Then, even if we run, they'll always be ahead of us. Unless, Jinx said, smiling a little, we break the system. Ray narrowed his eyes. You know, how. Maybe, Jinx said, but it's risky. How risky? Zara asked. Jinx grinned. Like poking a sleeping god in the eye. Outside, something stirred. 3 bounty hunters watched the bunker from a nearby ridge. Their scanners had found the mark, and the Empire had promised 10 million credits for Zara, dead or alive. Call the client, one said. Tell them we found her. Inside, Zara's mark suddenly flared. She screamed and fell to the floor. Jinx panicked. They've activated it remotely. Ray grabbed Zara, held her steady. Can you stop it? I need to cut it out, Jinx said. Now. Now. Jinx pulled out tools. Sparks flew. Zara bit down on a cloth to stop from screaming. The mark's light flickered, flared, then vanished. Silence. Zara lay back, sweating, breathing hard. Is it over? She asked. Jinx looked at the blackened piece of metal in her hand. For now. But they know we're here. Alarms went off. Jinx's screen blinked red. 3 ships incoming. Ray stood up, gun ready. Then we fight. Outside, the bounty hunters moved in. Smoke grenades, plasma rifles. They were ready. But they didn't expect a human who fought like a ghost, or a woman who just had her future ripped out of her neck. Zara and Ray stood side by side. As the first blast door exploded inward, Zara whispered, "They wanted to use my mind. Now they'll learn what it's like when I use it against them." The death squad smoke filled the bunker. The walls shook with each blast. Chunks of metal fell from the ceiling. Jinx cursed as sparks flew from the console. "They're not bounty hunters," she said, panic in her voice. "They're something else." Zara already knew. She could feel it, in the air, in her bones, like the cold breath of a shadow standing. Just behind her, the death squad was here. Ray gritted his teeth. "How did they find us? The mark is gone." "They didn't need it," Jinx said. "They followed the last signal. And they tracked me. I've been off-grid too long. They finally caught up." Zara checked her blaster. Her hands didn't shake. Not this time. Not anymore. "How many?" she asked. Jinx pulled up the sensor feed. 3 confirmed. Could be more. Ray's jaw tightened. 3 is bad enough. The death squad wasn't like other soldiers. They were grown, not born. Designed for one purpose: eliminate without question, without hesitation, without fear. They didn't bleed. They didn't sleep. They didn't stop. And worst of all, they knew their targets better than anyone, because they used the thoughts, memories, and emotions stolen through the mark. They knew how their enemies thought. And they used it against them. Outside, through the thick smoke and debris, 3 figures stepped into the ruins of the bunker. They were tall, armored, and silent. One of them held a plasma blade longer than an arm. Another had claws that could rip through steel. And the third, he wore no helmet at all. Zara saw him on the screen. Her heart stopped. "That's Kyle." Ray turned to her. "Who?" "He was my partner," Zara said, her voice quiet. "Before everything, before the mark. We flew missions together. He saved my life once, and now he's here to end it," Jinx muttered. The lights flickered. They were inside now. Close. Ray handed Jinx a blaster. "You said you wanted to matter. Here's your chance." Jinx snorted. "I just wanted to sell information and retire on a beach planet. But fine, let's make history instead." The 3 of them took positions. Ray near the entrance, Jinx by the power core, Zara in the shadows near the back tunnel. The first explosion ripped the steel door off its hinges. Ray opened fire immediately, aiming for the eyes. The first soldier didn't flinch, but the second was pushed back. The third, Kyle, walked forward slowly, his eyes on Zara. He didn't raise a weapon. He just stared at her. "Zara," he said softly. She stepped out. "You're not him. Not anymore." "I remember you," he said. "I remember the mission on Zara 9. I remember the song you used to hum when you were nervous." Her blood ran cold. "You're not remembering," she said. "You're reading my mind." He didn't deny it. "The mark made you. Not memories. Not love. Just stolen pieces." Kyle lowered his blade. "I don't want to kill you, Zara. Come, with me. We can fix this. The Empire will restore you. We can be whole again." Ray stepped forward. "Don't listen. He's using your emotions to distract you." Kale's voice grew colder. "You're the problem. A human. Always breaking rules. Always thinking you're different. Zara raised her blaster. He is different, that's why we're still alive. Kale moved fast. Too fast. He was in front of her in seconds, but this time, Zara was ready. She ducked, fired up into his chest. Sparks flew. He staggered, then grabbed her by the throat. She gasped. "They gave me your fear," he whispered. "I know exactly when you hesitate." "Good," she choked out. "Then you didn't see this coming." She pressed a small device into his armor. Boom! A mini blast blew Kale backward through the wall. Ray grabbed Zara, pulled her down the tunnel. "Jinx!" he shouted. "Go," she yelled. "I'll hold them. I've got a surprise waiting for them." What kind of surprise? The kind that turns this place into dust. They ran through the winding tunnel as explosions echoed behind them. Above, the bunker lit up in fire. They didn't look back. They reached the surface, breathing hard, bleeding, alive. Jinx didn't make it. The bunker was gone. Zara stood still, staring at the smoke. "He was still in there," she whispered. "He made his choice," Ray said. "He died a long time ago." Zara nodded slowly. "But I won't forget him. Not the real him." "We can't stop now," Ray said. "We need to move, before reinforcements come." "Where?" "To someone who knows what the Empire fears most." "And who is that?" Ray looked at her. "Your father." Zara froze. "He's dead. He's—" "No," Ray said. "He's alive. And he's leading a secret program." Zara's voice trembled. "How do you know?" Ray reached into his pocket and pulled out a chip. "Jinx gave me this just before the bunker exploded. She said, 'Your real war begins now.'" They boarded their ship again, broken but alive. Zara held the chip tightly. The Empire had sent the death squad to end her. Instead, they'd only made her more dangerous. The betrayal, the stars were quiet again. After the fire. After the screams. After the bunker turned to ash, Zara and Ray flew in silence. No music. No chatter. Only the low hum of the engine and the occasional static from the damaged comms. Zara stared at the chip in her hand. Jinx's final gift. It held information about her father, a man she believed was dead. Now somehow he was not only alive, but at the center of something darker than the mark. Darker than Project Silence. "Do you trust this?" Zara finally asked. Ray didn't take his eyes off the stars. "I trust Jinx. She didn't die for nothing. And if my father is with the Empire..." Ray looked at her now. "Then we make a choice. Together." They landed on a hidden moon called Virex 9, a place forgotten by maps, covered in ice and mountains. Beneath its frozen surface was a rebel base, one that had gone dark for 2 years. No signals, no survivors, but someone was alive inside, someone waiting. Zara and Ray moved slowly through the icy caves. The deeper they went, the warmer it got. Soon they found tunnels filled with steam, glowing lights, and traces of life. And then, a voice echoed through the walls. "Welcome home, Zara." She froze. She knew that voice. Her father stepped out of the shadows, taller than she remembered, older, colder, but his eyes were still hers. "You're alive?" she whispered. He smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "You always were the smart one," he said. "You found me." Zara ran to him, but he didn't hug her. He only placed a hand on her shoulder. "You've come far, but the galaxy isn't what you think it is." Ray stepped forward, cautious. "You've been hiding while people died." Zara's father turned to him. "And you must be the human, the one who thinks he can save her." "I did save her," Ray said, "and I'll do it again." The two men locked eyes. Zara stepped between them. "Why did you fake your death?" she asked, her father's voice lowered. "Because the Empire gave me a choice. Join Project Silence. Or die." "So you joined them?" Zara asked. "No," he said. "I took their tools and started my own war." He led them deeper into the base. Hundreds of screens glowed, showing files, codes, maps. rebel movements, empire routes, hidden stations, even death squad blueprints. I've built something better than rebellion, he said. A virus. One that can shut down the entire empire in minutes. Zara's eyes widened. You built this? With stolen tech. And minds like Jinx. But now I need your memories. The ones they copied through the mark. They hold the key. Ray stepped forward. No. You're not using her like they did. Her father raised his voice. I'm not using her. I'm letting her fight back. Zara hesitated. This was everything she wanted. To break the empire. To stop the killings. To end the silence. But something felt wrong. Too easy. Too cold. Too much. Like them. How will you deliver the virus, she asked. With the Death Squad's own system, he said. They're connected to every Empire hub. Once one of them is infected, it spreads across the network. How do we infect them? Ray asked. Her father smiled. We don't. You do. Later that night, Zara sat alone in the old control room. She listened to the storm outside the ice walls. Inside her mind, memories swirled. Her father's touch. Kale's eyes, Ray's voice, Jinx's sacrifice. She wanted peace. But she didn't want to become the Empire to find it. Ray found her. You're thinking what I'm thinking, he said. He's lying, Zara whispered. Ray nodded. He wants to control the Empire, not destroy it. She turned to him. We need proof. We need to go deeper into his files, Ray said. Past the surface. Past what he wants us to see. Zara placed the chip Jinx gave her into a secure, a new folder appeared. Project Rebirth. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside were video logs, test records, names, and one word repeated again and again. Kale. She played one of the logs. Her father's voice filled the room. Subject Kale 47 responds well to emotional triggers. Original memories of pilot Zara have been enhanced. Fear and love responses are fully active. Next step, send him to retrieve. Her, alive. Zara couldn't breathe. Ray stood frozen. He used him, she whispered. He used me. Her father had rebuilt Kale, not to kill her, but to bring her back, to lead her here, to use her for his plan. The entire thing was a trap. They turned to run, but it was too late. The door slammed shut. Her father stood outside, looking in through the glass. I hoped you wouldn't find that, he said. Zara stepped forward. You used Kale. You used me. You're no different from the Empire. He sighed. I'm better, I'm smarter. And when this is over, the galaxy will thank me. Ray slammed his fist against the glass. You won't win. Not with her. Not with me. Her father's face darkened. You've always been a problem, Commander Ray. Maybe it's time we erase you too. The floor beneath them began to open. Gas hissed from vents. Run! Zara shouted. They dove through a side hatch just before the room filled with white mist. They escaped. Barely, but now they were hunted. By the Empire, by the Death Squad, and by her own blood. The reckoning, snow whipped across the frozen plains of Virex 9. But Zara felt no cold. Not anymore. Not after what she'd seen. Not after the man she called father tried to use her mind like a weapon. Zara and Ray stood near the edge of a ridge, their ship hidden behind broken rocks. Deep below them, the rebel baselights blinked like stars trapped under ice. Inside, her father was preparing to launch his virus, not to destroy the Empire, but to control it. We have to stop him, Zara said. Ray nodded. But we can't do it alone. We'll need help. From who? Zara asked. We burned every bridge, and the rest are hunting us. Ray opened a secure signal line. Not everyone. Hours later, deep in orbit, 5 old ships hovered silently near the edge of the moon's gravity. They were rusted, dented, marked with scars of forgotten wars. Inside them were the ones the Empire called broken. Outlaws, ex-soldiers, hackers, smugglers. But Ray called them friends. And more importantly, He called in a favor. You owe me your lives, he said over the comm. Now I need them back. This is suicide, one of the captains replied. That man down there used to build empires. So did we, Ray said. Now let's show him what we remember. Zara suited up in silence. Black armor, twin blasters. The mark on her neck, now gone, had been replaced with something stronger. Purpose. She still felt Kale's memory in her heart. Not the machine he had become, but the man he used to be. Her father had taken that from her. He would take no more. The plan was simple and impossible. Break into the base, reach the central core, shut down the virus, stop the launch, and escape alive. But they only had one chance, because once the virus uploaded, it would spread faster than light, controlling every drone, every death squad soldier, every AI-linked system in the Empire. And if her father got what he wanted, there would be no freedom left, not for anyone. The assault began at dawn. The outlaw fleet distracted the outer defense turrets with fake attack runs. Meanwhile, Zara and Ray entered through an old mining shaft, now barely holding itself together. Zara moved like a shadow. Ray followed close behind. Inside the base, alarms rang again. Her father knew they were coming, and he was ready. Zara. His voice echoed through the halls. You disappoint me. She ignored him, kept moving, fast, focused. You had a chance to build something better, to rule beside me. Ray smirked. She already rules something you'll never have. Trust. Zara smiled, just a little. Then they reached the door. The core room, behind it, the virus console, the server brain of the whole system. And standing in front of it, Kale, rebuilt again, different, stronger. But his eyes were the same. He didn't speak, didn't move, just waited. Zara took a step forward. I know you're in there. Silence. You saved me once, she said. You were more than a weapon. His hands twitched. You still are. For a second, his body shook, like something inside him was fighting back. But the control held. He raised his blade and charged. Ray fired, dodging. Zara leapt sideways. The battle was fast, brutal. Kale was faster than before, but his movements were full of conflict. He's fighting it, Zara shouted. Don't kill him. Ray nodded and changed aim, targeting joints, wires, sensors. Zara jumped behind Kale and pressed a device to the base of his skull, a virus patch from Jinx. Kale screamed, a terrible, broken sound. Then dropped, alive, but unconscious. They reached the core. Zara stared at the console. A countdown had started. Virus upload. 2 minutes. Ray began typing. I can stall it. Maybe reverse it. Her father's voice came through again. Zara, if you do this, the galaxy will collapse. Chaos will return. People need control. She whispered, they need truth. Ray nodded. But Zara, her father said softly, if you shut this down, you'll also destroy the one thing that kept you alive. Zara's hand paused. The mark, the memories it copied, are tied to this system. Erase this, and they vanish. Ray looked at her. What does he mean? Zara closed her eyes. He means, if we shut this down, I'll forget Kyle. The real Kyle. All their memories together, before the Empire took him, had been stored through her mark. When it was removed, the system became the last place those memories lived. If they deleted the virus, the stolen thoughts would burn with it. Everything she had left of him. Gone. You don't have to do this, Ray said gently. Zara looked at the screen. Virus upload 30 seconds. She pressed her hand to the console and whispered, goodbye. She deleted everything. The system lit up, then collapsed. Code erased. Servers melting. The virus was gone. The Empire's weapon destroyed, and with it, so were her memories. Outside, the rebel fleet cheered. The base lights flickered and died. The death squad units across the galaxy froze, dropped, shut down. And in the silence that followed, The galaxy took its first breath of freedom. Zara stood quietly, a tear running down her face. "Are you okay?" Ray asked. She looked at him, smiled faintly. "I don't remember why I'm crying," she said. Ray stepped closer. "Then let me help you remember something better." They walked out together, leaving the wreckage behind. Behind them, Kyle lay still. Not a weapon, not a monster. Just a memory. The human who changed everything. The war was over, but peace was still uncertain. News spread like fire. Project Silence was gone. The death squads had fallen. The virus deleted. And the man who had designed it all, Zara's father, was missing. Vanished beneath the ruins of his broken base. But to Zara, the real silence was inside her. They had returned to a small outpost on Terra 7, a quiet moon where the stars seemed a little closer and the air smelled of rain. It was not home, but it was quiet. And after all they had been through, quiet felt like a gift. Zara stood on a cliff each morning watching the sun rise over the edge of the world. The wind touched her face, soft like memory. But her mind was empty in places. Names she didn't remember, faces without stories, and one face, missing completely. Kyle. The price she had paid to stop the Empire's weapon had been her own memory. The only copy of her real past with Kale was burned away with the virus. All that was left were feelings she couldn't explain, a pain with no picture, a love with no face. Ray stayed with her. He didn't try to fix her. He didn't try to remind her. He just stood by her side as steady as a mountain. He cooked. He built things. And sometimes when she had nightmares, he stayed up and told her stories until she fell asleep. Some of those stories, he said, were about her. Others were about someone else, someone brave, someone kind, someone who gave up everything to save the galaxy. She always asked, "Was that person real?" He would smile. "The most real I've ever known." But the galaxy didn't sleep long. Without the Empire, the stars grew wild again. Some systems formed peace councils, others fell into chaos. Pirates rose, broken governments fought for power, and small rebellions turned into full wars. And through it all, people started to ask, what happened to the girl with the mark? Where is the man who broke the death squad? Where is the virus destroyer? They didn't know, because Zara had vanished and Ray had followed. Until one day, years later, a transmission lit up the private channel of a United Space Fleet. "Officer, the message was short, Commander Ray. There's a situation. Classified. She asked for you by name." Ray looked at the screen. His heart beat once. "Hard." "Who?" the officer replied. "The marked one. She says she remembers now." He flew to a deep colony station on the edge of a starfield called the Black Veil, where lost ships often disappeared and no signals could reach for light years. When he landed, the air was heavy, full of dust and energy. He stepped into a long hallway lit by red lights. Each step echoed like a heartbeat. Then she appeared. Zara, not in armor, not running, just standing, waiting. She looked older, stronger, colder, but when their eyes met, something broke inside both of them. She walked to him slowly, then said 4 words. "I found the memory." She had gone looking, across forbidden systems, lost archives, and outlaw minds. And in a hidden memory vault built by Jinx before her death, she had found a digital trace. A copy. A backup Jinx had secretly made one moment, one image, a young pilot. A shared laugh, a hand held in fear and fire. Kyle. Just one memory, but enough to remind her. She once loved, and she once fought to protect that love, and now she could fight again for more. "They're rebuilding," Zara told Ray. "Not the Empire, something worse, something quieter. They're calling it the Voice. No weapons, no armies. Just control through thought." "Mind control?" Ray asked. "Worse," she said. "Belief control. They plant ideas, doubts, stories. They don't kill people anymore. They just make them stop thinking. Ray frowned. And what do you want to do? Zara looked at him, her voice calm. Certain. I want to make them afraid again. That night, under a sky filled with fire trails and distant stars, the two of them sat beside a small campfire on the edge of the station. It was quiet, no soldiers, no alarms, just wind and warmth. Ray handed her a small silver tag. It was bent, scorched. Kale's dog tag. I kept it, he said, in case you ever wanted to remember. Zara held it gently. Thank you. You remember him now? Ray asked. Not everything, she said, but enough to know he mattered, and enough to know you do too. Ray looked away, then smiled. So, what now? Zara stood, dusted herself off, looked at the stars. Now we remind the galaxy why they feared the human spirit, and in the end, she was marked for death. But she became the reason others chose to live. And he, the human they underestimated, became the one who changed the story of the stars forever, not through power, not through fear, but through the choice to protect one life against the will of an entire galaxy.